Hey there guys, what is going on today? Of course, we find ourselves on the Tier Maker website again, and when we do see that, that means we are ranking something, as you can tell by the title and of course the thumbnail. We are ranking the sidearms here today, which is actually quite interesting, and is definitely something that has been recommended to us by Christian Brugger. He wanted to see us rank the sidearms and the secondaries, all of them in Cold War. We're not actually including the melee weapons here today because I mean, they're all basically the same. Obviously, the top tier one is the sledgehammer because it's just so goofy. Anyway, let us start off with our tier explanations here. If you haven't seen one of these videos, it basically goes like this. In the bottom tier, we do have the dumpster. These are weapons that are basically unusable, really bad stuff in this game. You do not want to be using dumpster tier weapons unless you're doing it for a meme. Situational are weapons that only obviously apply in certain situations. Say they have a 3-shot kill ridiculously close range, and then they struggle outside of close range. That is situational. Pretty good weapons are basically middle of the road stuff, viable weapons that don't really excel at anything but aren't definitely terrible. Like, this is a pretty good place to be in my opinion, obviously. Then the next tier up, we do have the meta kind of tier. These are weapons that are very good in this game, but do have specific flaws that make them kinda worse than the absolute best weapons in the game. And then of course we have the meta tier. These are top tier stuff, definitely stuff you do want to use pretty much all the time, especially with secondaries. You can take these on any class setup. So starting us off here, we do have the 1911. Now this is a pistol that is a little bit in an interesting spot. I actually think it is more powerful in its single variety, as it does get a 3-shot kill rather than akimbo. I mean, you can get a very fast kill with an akimbo, but I mean, in terms of that dual wield class setup with the 1911, we actually can do better with other weapons, which is a little sad, but it is what it is here. I do think as a solo weapon, getting that 3-shot kill with a pistol from about 20 meters away, 20, 25 meters, 30 meters away, which is actually really powerful and actually very fun. But again, it's sort of one of those things where you can overlook this for other weapons at the moment, like it's not the most powerful thing, but it is definitely very good. I think putting it in the meta kind of tier or pretty good tier is probably what we want to go with here today, and would probably be somewhere in the middle. If we had a tier in the middle, that's where it would probably go. At the moment, I'm probably leaning more towards meta kind of tier because being able to have this dual wield is still very important and a very powerful weapon to run around with. But again, there are better options in the game now. The next is the AM63. Now this is basically the next SMG in the game. This is like a pocket SMG. That's how powerful this thing is. I really do feel like this could have put this in the SMG tier and just been fine with it. Maybe add larger magazines and we could have had like another SMG. So that's how I feel about the AM63. I pretty much use this on most of my class setups to just sort of get a very powerful close range option. I feel like the other options might be better in certain situations, but just for how easy this is to use, this is obviously a meta weapon, regardless of whether you're dual wielding it or not. This thing just kills very nicely and is a very fun weapon to use. We actually do have a class setup that's a little goofy plan, so keep an eye out for that. Make sure you do hit that subscribe button with those notifications turned on if you do want to see something like that. Moving on here, we do have the ballistic knife. Now, this is basically the definition of a situational weapon. Like, obviously, it's never going to be a top tier meta weapon as it is sort of limited in what it can do. It is, of course, limited by your ability to actually hit shots with this thing, which is very tough sometimes. And then it basically just turns it into a melee weapon, which again is very situational. We can't put this in dumpster because it actually does kill people very effectively. So we're going to put this in the situational tier. This is pretty much what that tier was designed for. Stuff that's kind of weird, but still gets the job done. Next, we have the first launcher here, and this is the Ligma 350 million. I actually don't know what this thing is. I think it's called the Sigma, and then some numbers. I actually don't remember what this is called. I mean, this is going to be a weapon that sort of gets the job done at being able to fight free fire it, but then again, like, it's mostly designed around killing those kill streaks, and at that job, that is what it is. Like, it does what it does, and it's fine at that job. So I guess pretty good tier is where it should be. I mean, we can't really place this anywhere else, as it's not like the best gun in the game, as you can sort of just like counter this with Flak Jacket, but it does kill those kill streaks very easily and very quickly in most regards. So pretty good is probably fine for this. This is going to be a little janky, as these do very different things sometimes, but it is what it is here. Then the crossbow. I actually think the crossbow is very good in this game. Like, being able to get those one-shot kills, even up close, that hip fire on that thing is actually very accurate, which is really cool. So I feel like talking about the crossbow is kind of difficult. Again, it is one of those weapons that will instantly delete someone if you manage to hit them. But again, it is very tough to do so. I feel like as a crossbow, it's perfect. Like, it is well balanced. The bolt moves appropriately fast. I would have liked to have seen some attachments with this like we did see in the Modern Warfare crossbow, but we can't have everything all the time. So I feel like putting the crossbow in the pretty good tier, because it does kill people. It's really good at killing people. You just have to be very good at using it. Next is the Diamatti here. Now, the Diamatti is a weapon that I used to talk about all the time, and then the AM63 came out, and I'm like, well, this thing's just easier to use. But that's not saying that the Diamatti is difficult to use, and it absolutely deletes people from the game. It is a very fast killing weapon. Even if you aren't running that as a dual wield variety, you're still getting a 2-burst kill with this thing, which is really nice. That absolutely removes people from the game. Even in hardcore, man, This thing is literally the best gun in the game in hardcore. It's so fast to move around. You get like a one burst kill easily. It's just so much fun to use this thing. So we can definitely put this in the meta tier, whether you are dual wielding this thing, whether you've got one of them. The attachments are nice. It's a really, really fast killing machine and a really, really good weapon to use and a great sidearm in this game. The next couple are going to be a little interesting here. We've got the Spaz 12, which is the Gallo SA12 in this game. I mean, I really don't know where to rank this thing. Like, it does what it does. Like, you're going to get kills with this thing up close, and that's what a shotgun should do. I mean, this is probably the best shotgun in the game. I think the shotguns are in a weird spot at the moment. They haven't really given them much love ever since the Street Sweeper died a very painful death, which was definitely necessary. That thing was way too strong. Being able to get a one-shot kill with that thing from, like, 15 meters away was ridiculous. So, I mean, it is what it is here. It died a horrible death. The shotguns are not very good in this game, but I mean, being able to get those kills up close is what a shotgun does, and it still does that, so I think the Gallo SA12 can probably go in the meta kind of tier, basically just because it kills people up close, and that is exactly what it is designed to do, and I guess you really can't say too much more about that. Then the Hauer 77, this is again a weapon that does struggle a little bit in certain situations. I mean, you are going to get those kills up close, but if you don't hit that shot, you're a little bit inaccurate. Your second shot is probably going to get you killed. So I feel like this is a little bit worse than the Gallo SA12, probably going in the pretty good tier. Again, you can still definitely get kills with this thing. It is a shotgun after all. Up close, if you get that one-shot kill, you're just removing people from the game, which is really, really easy for the most part. But again, missing shots and doing those other nasty things with that sort of delay time for the second shot being a pump shotgun, it can be a little tricky sometimes, so we have to put this in a pretty good tier and be okay with that. Next, we do have the M79, and I will confess to you guys that this is a weapon that I've literally never used. I don't think I've actually ever picked it up off the ground and been like, yep, this is a good thing to have in my hands. The M79, I mean, you can sort of sometimes get kills with it. If you actually hit someone with this thing, you are going to kill them. I think a direct hit kills people. I actually don't even know any of the details about this thing. I mean, putting it in the dumpster tier is pretty obvious for most people. It's probably one of the most painful weapons in the game to sort of get those camos with, try and continue on your DM Ultra streak. So, I mean, putting this in the dumpster tier is probably not going to surprise everyone. I've literally never used it before. I've not even picked it up off the ground once, so I can't really have too much of an opinion about it, but I've heard that it's not very good. Next, we do have the Magnum here. Now, I really, really think the Magnum is very, very fun. They did actually nerf it a little while ago with the hipfire variety, the dual wield stuff that we love so much, and it is actually still very, very strong. You can actually get those like one-shot kill if you fire one shot with both pistols. That technically counts as a one-shot kill, I guess. I mean, you're actually able to get those kills from ridiculously far away if you manage to land both bullets, which is a lot of fun here. I feel like putting this out of the meta tier is not really appropriate, as you can literally just remove people from the map from ridiculously far away with hipfire pistols. So I think putting this in the meta tier as just being able to delete people from the game is super, super fun. Dual wield single fire variety is a lot of fun to run around with this thing, and you can still get this done even if you don't have two of them. So a definitely good weapon in this game. Next, we do have the nail gun here, which is definitely a very, very interesting weapon in this game. When it came out, I used this thing. I spent most of my time unlocking this thing, and that was a bit of a bad decision, but it is what it is here. We did it and we unlocked it, and being a 3-shot kill at those sort of close to medium distances is a very, very cool thing. It's to have, it struggles at longer distances, but it's a nail gun. You're never going to be able to pick people off from very far away, and it definitely kills people up close. So it's a 3-shot kill with a nail gun. The handling speeds, the reload speeds, they're okay. I think from the top of my head, they're fine. The iron sights in this thing are a little dodgy because, again, it is a nail gun after all. This is a construction tool, not a combat weapon. So this is probably one of the hardest ones for me to rank. I think it's probably somewhere between meta kind of and pretty good, because you actually delete people when you get those nails on target. It's just a little bit tricky to hit people sometimes, so I want to put this at the top of the pretty good tier, because you definitely can kill people with this thing. Like, it is a very, very, very fun weapon to use. I feel like putting it in the situational tier is probably a little too low, even that's where it probably should go. Like, the 3-shot kill with this thing is really, really entertaining. So I feel like we can put this at the pretty good tier because it's fun. Next, we do have the RPG, and I guess this is like the launcher of choice for most people who don't care about getting those kill streaks down. I mean, you do actually have to kill streaks with this thing to get the camos for it, which is absolutely terrible. Like, that's such a bad decision. But anyway, it is what it is here. The RPG is an acceptable weapon in this game. I feel like putting it any higher than pretty good is a little disingenuous here, because, I mean, it's not the best, as mostly gets countered by Flak Jacket as well, so it's one of those things where it does do what it does, and sometimes if you run into somebody who isn't running Flak Jacket, you can get pretty easy kills, but outside of that, it does struggle a little bit. So I feel like putting it in the same tier as the Sigma is probably a good option as well. And then lastly, the Street Sweeper. What do we say about the Street Sweeper? He died a very, very painful death a little while ago. When they took away that one-shot kill from this thing, an automatic shotgun probably shouldn't have a one-shot kill in the game, but when you take that away, it actually turns out to be really bad. So, it's the Street Sweeper's not really good anymore. That's why we haven't seen any use of the shotguns on the channel, like, for a long time. Since that happened, we really haven't used this. It's really hard to sort of judge these together. I mean, putting it in somewhere, again, the meta kind of, or the pretty good tier, it's probably appropriate for this thing, as you can still kill people very easily. It's just definitely not as good as it used to be when that one-shot kill was around. Oh, this was the easily been, like, this part of the meta tier list. Like, this would have been one of the best guns in the game, full stop. Now that it doesn't really get those one-shot kills, it's definitely a lot worse than it used to be. Again, putting it at the top of the pretty good tier is probably the right place for it. Again, that's our list here. If you disagree with it, make sure you do leave a comment letting me know what you think about this list. I feel like this is not too bad. Some of the pistols and secondaries in this game are actually very strong, especially the dual wield variety pistols. I feel like the 1911 does actually get left behind a little bit because new pistols, better pistols have been added to the game recently, and that's okay. It is what it is. A little bit of power creep's okay in my opinion. But again, thank you very much for watching this one. As I said, if you disagree, make sure you do let me know in the comments. The link for this tier list will be in the description so you can make your own one and then send it to me. Or let me know in the comments what you think. And of course, make sure you do hit that subscribe button with those notifications turned on, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!